Papa Infidel Ben the Looney and viewers, while I'm not really that big on CG animation, I don't really mind it that much either. You know, though I personally lean more towards traditional hand-drawn animation, I will admit that CG animation can have its good points about it. Look, we all know hand-drawn animation has its limitations, and CG animation can help compensate for that by creating more of a spectacle or just giving you more than you get from hand-drawn animation. Unfortunately, a lot of American animation studios that specialize in CG aren't interested in creating a visual spectacle or using CG to tell a story in a manner that you typically don't get from live-action features. No. It's mostly just Pixar, DreamWorks, or whoever creating some half-assed computer-generated cartoon that's just made to keep your kids entertained for a little bit. But that's typically true of current animation in America anyway. Now, in all honesty, with all the movies that I watch and with all the video games that I play on a daily basis, I'd be lying if I said I hate CG. And to be perfectly fair, I haven't really seen any recent CG movies from Hollywood studios outside of Despicable Me, and, well, put it this way, if watching a movie can give you visual aids, visual VD, I think Despicable Me may be the one film you should avoid. Like, doesn't that suck where even as you're watching a movie, you're just like, I'm getting some kind of freak-ass disease right now from watching this. Some reoccurring nightmares about walking, talking, smooching homicidal garden gnomes is in my future. Screams and booze, that's what's in my future. Screams and booze. I mean, look, it's because of movies like Despicable Me that I tend to steer away from American CG movies in the first place. It's not that I don't think that you can do great things with CG. If there's anything that the Final Fantasy movies have taught me, it's that you can use CG to make a really great movie. Both The Spirits Within and Advent Children really pushed the limits of the computer technology, and the teams that created both films not only tried to make a visually stunning movie, but succeeded in both that and telling a really compelling story. Okay, maybe Advent Children didn't excel in the story part, but hey, it was sufficient enough for me, and I've never even played Final Fantasy VII. That's what drives me away from most American CG films. They don't look as if the development teams were trying to push their technology to the very limits. No, a lot of them actually look like they were just slapped together in a computer in all of about 5 hours. Now look, I understand that it takes a few years to make at least one CG film, unless you're working on VeggieTales, which has almost as low production quality as the older episodes of South Park. But do these studios really just spend 2.5 to 3 years just crafting together some kind of half-assed computer-generated 90-minute cartoon? I mean, look, I do understand that not every single CG film can be nearly as good as the two Final Fantasy films, or give you as great a spectacle as even Avatar. Yes, I like Avatar. You can get pissy about how it rips off Dances with Wolves all you want. I don't give a crap. However, that should be no excuse for them not to try. You know, animated films shouldn't just be used to entertain children. They're capable of more than that. Okay, I'm sorry if I'm ragging on American animation studios so badly, but so many of them, so many of the CG films that get pumped out of these Hollywood studios look as if the design teams just puked all over their computer screens and decide, well, that's what the movie's going to look like. Or maybe Ben the Looney and I are the only two people left in America who actually hold animation to a higher standard. But getting back to pushing the boundaries of the technology, I remember a few weeks ago I was watching the making of feature on my older sister's DVD copy of Shrek the Third, and the animation director, or whatever his title was going on about, well, the first Shrek started production in '97, and we could only do minimal crowd movement, and everybody's clothes and hair just kind of stuck to them. And Shrek 2, we had more technology, better technology available. We could do minimal clothing movement and hair movement, like when Prince Charming takes his helmet off in the beginning, you know, the whipping around the shampoo scene, as I like to call it. The Shrek the Third, we have much better technology now. We can make the characters' hair and their clothes ripple in the wind and all this little stuff, and it looks more realistic. Well, here's the problem with that. Look at the attention to detail in this scene, more specifically, her hair. Notice how it seems as if it's floating in that anti-gravity area along with her, and not just sticking to her face. And by the way, this isn't just one scene. Her hair doesn't do that much movement in just one or two scenes. That's the entire friggin' movie. And that's not all. While there may not be that much clothing movement in this film, notice the shadow lighting and how they pay so much attention to detail, lining up different portions of the film. It's almost as if they're more focused on making it actually look like a movie instead of just some cornballish, hey kids, check it out, it's just some BS to look at so you can laugh and look like goobers. And that movie came out in 2001. Okay? So, it looks to me like the Japanese have you guys beat by about a light year. Either you guys really don't understand the technology that you use, or you're just incredibly lazy, because that movie looks 100 times better than any scene from either of the Shrek movies. Hell, the T-1000 in his liquid metal form looks 100 times better than any scene from either of the Shrek movies, and you don't even see him in that form very often in T2. Still, despite my criticisms, there are some CG films that I can watch without wanting to put my face in front of a loaded shotgun. I mentioned Avatar. That film is pretty much 98% CG, so I think it counts. The two Final Fantasy movies, Spirits Away and The Spirits Within and Advent Children. The two Resident Evil movies that Capcom did, Degeneration and Damnation. There are even actually, believe it or not, a few Pixar and DreamWorks movies that I like. Toy Story, I liked. It was one of the few times that I didn't want to puke while watching a Tom Hanks movie. Bug's Life, I remember liking it when I was a kid. Nowadays, not that much. Monsters, Inc. I thought was okay. It was too cartoony for me, even for a kid's flick. Same thing goes for Finding Nemo. Ants, I wonder how many people actually remember that movie. Even with how badly I badgered the development crew for it, I do like Shrek, at least the first one. Even though, I'm one of those guys who basically thinks that there are certain movies that just should not have a sequel. Ice Age was okay. I mean, I still don't know how Dennis Leary ended up being cast in the film given the nature of his comedy.
So let me ask you this. Is it impossible to get a cup of flavored coffee anymore in this country? Huh? What happened with coffee? Did I miss a fucking meeting with the coffee? Huh? You can get every other flavor except coffee-flavored coffee. They got mochaccino, they got chocochino, frappuccino, cappuccino, rappuccino, alpuccino. What the fuck? www.whatthefuck.com.
So bottom line, I'm not against computer animation, but I think it's another method of animation that has been sorely misused by people who seem to assume that only little kids and people who have the attention span of a dog from the movie Up watch animated films. And before some troll comes along and is like, well, why would anybody but kids want to go see a crappy-ass animated film when they could just go see a live-action piece? Dirt. Well, that mindset, that lame douche mindset, is what has caused animation to be perceived wrongfully as the way it is currently perceived in America. And all I really got to say to you guys is, SMFO, SMLO, CMOU, SMGU, whichever acronym you prefer, just suck it.